I want to welcome you back to part two of this series. And as you know, my friend, we're going to get deep into a conversation about one of the things which is most vital, most crucial to the effectiveness and the overall results created by a modern man. And of course, what we're talking about here is this question of conviction. Now, I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to get deep into a definition from the dictionary of conviction. I think that you already know what it means, and you already have a pulse on whether you have a little of it, a lot of it, none of it. So really what I want to do is get into a conversation of something more important. And what that is the question of how do we live with more conviction than we have been in the past? How do I go from the level of conviction that I have right now today, and how do I add 10%, 20%, 50% more conviction so that I can move more powerfully in my life, have bigger goals, and just generally do more, have a bigger impact? So let me give you a little lens to look at this through. It's hard sometimes for us to really see the level of our own conviction without doing some real introspection and study. But what I want you to do right now is consider some of the people in your life. Just have a quick think about who are the 2 or 3 people in your life who, when you think about it, live with the highest level of continuous conviction. In fact, having this conversation, who is the man or woman in your life that has the highest level of conviction? And what does that look like? What do you feel around them? What is it they create? What is it they do in their life, and how are they driven by it? Now, on the other side of the coin, cast your mind to some of the people in your life who have very little, perhaps even no conviction in what they do. And of course, like we said in the last video, conviction is all about your belief in what you're doing. Confidence is your belief in who you are. Conviction is this belief that what I'm doing in my life is vital and important, and I am driven like a madman to do it. So who in your life simply doesn't have that? What does that life look like? How do you feel around them? What do they create? So when you look at it through this lens, you can begin to see perhaps that conviction has a very direct effect on how someone lives and what they create. It's actually an interesting lens. One of the things you can play with is as you go about your life, your business, whatever you do day to day, start meeting people and asking yourself a question about them that maybe you didn't ask in the past. Start asking, how much conviction do I feel from this person? How much conviction do I hear in their voice? How much passion and fire and conviction do I see in their eyes? Start using this as a lens when you meet people. You'll learn a lot about them very, very rapidly. So this conversation of how do we create more conviction, we're going to have to dig into some things here. You, my friend, are going to have to do some work and look at your own life. And really what we're going to look at is we're going to dig into your goals, your vision, your purpose, your values, your responsibilities, and how tightly, how cleanly, how neatly do you understand and define what your day-to-day responsibilities as a man are. You know, what is your message in life? If you had one thing you could communicate to people you love, what would it be? So we're going to look at this. We're also going to have to look at how do you live? How do you design your life? What kind of language do you use? You know, how do you set up interactions with people in business, in your family, in your social life? What does that look like? What kind of a day-to-day design do you have that can begin to carry that conviction that we're going to build in a way that actually allows you to make changes? So we're going to jump into that next on the next video. We're going to start to speak very specifically about your purpose and getting clear on it and really turning up the volume, turning up the fire so it becomes something that drives you. But between now and the next video, I want you to ask yourself something. I just want you to ask yourself, what would your life look like with just 50% more conviction? If you were just 50% more committed, if you believed in the power and the importance and the impact of what you do, just 50% more, what would change for you? Think about that. Come back and I'll talk to you in the next video.